Yay! Awoo!
Awooga.
Awooga indeed.
Awooga.
Awooga indeed. Welcome back, everybody, to a belated episode of Dice Dogs. With me, as always, is the lovely Sophie, Vinn, Ethan, M, and Finn.
Hello.
How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Starving.
I'm making food.
Same, we all know how you are.
Pollen has been fucking me in the asshole recently.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's weird. It usually goes up the nose, but you know.
Yeah. I hate pro-spring people. People who are pro-spring, they're always like, oh, spring is so pretty, it's so nice. And meanwhile, I'm just in my
Anti-spring.
hobgoblin cave, just like,
Fall and winter
I can't-
only.
I can't
Well,
breathe.
you know,
days.
just get a new body. It's not hard.
Look, I've been trying for years. It is not as easy as you think. People are not willing.
I think this is my karma for making Fenkin's toad explode.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
You should show the audience what you changed my name to be.
I had a dream where Fenkin named it Grode the Splodin Toad.
No.
Oh,
It's a pretty good name.
That's
So
awful.
before we get started, a couple things. Normally my camera is on, but it is not today because my college's internet is, I guess, being upgraded. I don't know what the case is there, but just to save on connectivity, I'm going to have my camera off for now. But other than that, is there anything that anybody wants to go over? Anything anybody wants to say? Some news that they want to share?
Connor was interviewed by a Twitch streamer this past Friday, the 30th, and it was wonderful.
I was,
About
yeah.
his experience DMing.
I think it was Chef Byers on
Yes.
on Twitch.
Yes. It was wonderful.
Posted yep, it was on our Twitter.
What did I say? Why did I say I think? I know who it was.
Yeah.
You know, if we become competent, the link for his thing might be down there, maybe.
Maybe it might be in the description. We'll see. We'll see when the video posts.
I'm confident. But yeah, Chef Byers, they do D&D shows. I believe every Friday and every weekend. Just like talking to people about D&D. It's a really great time. You know, it's a really great little community. But yeah, who's ready for some D&D?
Me.
I'm ready.
Okay, so for a bit of recap from last time, if you guys remember, when you bedded down for the night, you were attacked by scores and scores of undead hordes. And Ethan, don't make that face. And
With swords.
Stop it. Which eventually led you to an abandoned mausoleum where one snitch Skullbelly was attempting to practice his necromantic magic. Fortunately, you guys were able to thwart him and send him away to wherever he might have gone. But unfortunately for you, even though you were able to expel the great evil within that forest at the time, when you did go back to camp to sleep, unfortunately for you, that was the most of the night. So you will all be waking up with exhaustion points.
Yay! Love
What, by the way?
Connor, push.
Sure. what's
No,
up?
wait. No, because we slept before the battle, so we wouldn't have really said anything either. Right?
Yeah, you slept a bit before the battle, and after the battle,
Yeah.
you're heading back to camp now to sleep. So you will be getting all your spell slots back. You will be getting all your health points back.
Okay. Should I add that now or wait?
But unfortunately, when you guys do eventually wake up, you will be waking up with an exhaustion point each because you
Great.
spent most of the night fighting.
Is there a designated place to add that, or just stick it wherever?
Yeah, I
On the
just
character sheet.
write myself like a little note, honestly, just like I have one exhaustion point. But before you guys do end up waking up, Ozla,
Uh-oh.
There's a
Christ
moment in the
Jesus.
night where you wake up and you begin to think about what you talked to Fenkin about in Zadash, in the bathhouse in Zadash. And now perhaps it's time to act upon that.
Better not.
Ah! So she's woken up now. Connor?
I'm here.
Yeah, she's woken up now.
All right. So as Ozla wakes up, you've got I can't even talk today. I'm sorry. As always, you've got Princess sleeping on your chest, and you look about the room, about the little pop-up tent, and with all the lights turned out in the pop-up tent, it's hard to like see kind of everybody, but you can see like shifting forms and of sleeping bodies, and eventually you are able to find Fenkin in his hammock. He is sound asleep.
Is she still... Was she nearby or anything? Like, was she in the same place she was last time? Or is she, like, just across the room?
I would say it's I would say that you weren't too far off. So, like, you could easily, like, get up and walk over without disturbing much.
Okay, well, she's not going to walk. She's going to crawl over on her hands and knees. And then, as she reaches Fenkin, she's going to grab the edge of the hammock. I said hamkin then. And just, like, shake it really violently.
Okay. All right. So Fenkin. In the midst of sleep, you were probably having, with all the things you saw the night before, you probably weren't getting that much like great sleep. You were probably having like kind of fits and whatnot, but eventually you were able to kind of like drift off to a nice slumber before being violently shaken awake by a pair of mighty halfling hands. And as like you bolt up in your hammock, you see your friend Ozla Highhill standing before you beside the hammock.
Hi, sleepyhead.
As he sort of quite literally stirs awake, he sort of, because he's used to sleeping in the forest and stuff, he's used to being awake, being quiet even if he's like startled. So he doesn't shout, he just kind of sits up but he almost falls over because he forgets that he's sleeping in the hammock, that things to move around. So he catches himself and sort of, and then he sees her, blinks at her, and then it sort of all starts coming back to him. Like, the reason why she would be waking him up, and he's like, and sort of gives her like a nod and a look, but doesn't say anything out loud because he doesn't want to risk awakening anyone else.
Ozla nods back at him and she scoop at Princess. But she does. She sort of turns and goes like, "Do we need any gold?"
Fenkin then remembers that he gave Nox all of his gold.
You sure did.
And he's like, so he looks towards where Nox is, if she's still sleeping on like for the pillows or wherever she is.
Yeah.
He nods towards her and then gives us a look and then points at the empty place on his waist where his money bag is supposed to be.
She sort of like, she connects the two and she just like shakes her head like, and she looks at him and goes, and looks at him and she's like, "Nos was Nox," and she's gonna try and pinch her coin first.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Give me a stealth check, Ozla.
I should have done this. I should have been the one to do this. Why did I let her do it?
Because according to Nox, I can't sneak my way around a dead cat. So.
Point of information. She does have a level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
So she has disadvantage on all abilities.
Right. Yeah. Thank
If
you.
that comes up. Not skill checks.
I got it. 8.
Okay. So.
Well. Okay. I mean, do you want me to check? Do you want me to make a check? Counter it.
Hang on, because you're all sleeping in a. Actually, yeah. Give. What's your passive perception?
15.
Okay, so Ozla, what happens is you kind of like crouch down, right, and you're kind of like making your way through the tent. And at first, you're kind of like doing sort of well because like you've seen you maybe picked up some tricks from Fenkin about being able to move silently every now and then. Unfortunately, though. You know how like a cat will dart under your foot when you're trying to walk? Well, Princess
No.
Oh no.
Princess in a vain attempt to like also be stealthy, his tail kind of like slips under your foot at the wrong time, and there's a loud as you just crunch down on Princess's tail.
Poor
And
baby.
he flops over and lets out kind of like a as he like kind of pulls his tail cord close to his body and knocks and Gesh and Dhuur'in. What's your passive perception?
12.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, everybody's awake. Everybody's awake at the
okay.
Thank you, just.
Oh, that's very good.
Do they
That
all
was
see
that
her?
plan ruined.
Do they all see her?
She's just mid-stance,
absolutely
like.
they all see her because like Princess is currently on the ground cradling his tail and just making noise.
I'm like blindly grabbing for my dagger amongst my shit. Like, what's going on?
Can I have so when everyone sees, I'll just like pause if she like like a deer caught in head, like she's like, and then she slowly like because she's on her hands and knees, she slowly like stretches up into a yoga position, and goes.
Very natural. Very natural.
Everybody goes back to sleep.
Nox kind of like much like a cat being rudely. Hold on a second. Never mind.
Oh. Okay.
Hang on, I can't hear Finn.
No, she muted herself.
Oh. Everything is up loud.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So she kind of like lifts her head in alarm. She's got the slightly blackened eyes of of alertness. Her ears are like looks up and swivels her head. Quickly gauges at least the what appears to be the situation, which is that Princess is in excruciating. Ozla is just doing yoga oddly close to her, but just like chilling. So so she looks down at Princess and then has very little sense of the I don't really care for Princess all that much. She looks at Ozla. What did you do? Very natural.
You know what? I want a performance check for that.
For the yoga?
Yeah.
I want a yoga check.
You think she can't do yoga?
Check.
How convincingly is she doing yoga?
How convincingly can you stretch?
With performance. Oh, okay. Okay, that's not bad. 16.
Okay. Yeah. No. Nothing seems out of the ordinary right now. Continue.
Bendy.
Doing great.
Finn, you're so like quiet for me, and I don't know why.
It's same for me.
Oh.
Yeah. But I kind of want Fenkin to sort of jump in and be like, she's doing the night stretches. It's Elden thing that taught her that.
Yeah.
Just hanging out.
Dhuur'in kind of thinks like night stretches. It must be an overworld elf thing. 'Cause...
It's all about the position of the moon and stuff.
Nox
They
kind
have
of
gold
stares.
binaries. Oh no.
Nox just stares at Ozla and then, like, kind of flicks her tail dismissively toward the agonized raccoon floor and says, "Why is your pet screaming?"
She like pauses in the stretching and she's like, pull the hamstring.
At this point, Princess has himself like propped up against one of the tent poles and is just kind of like chewing on his tail and like licking it.
It's in his tail. Mm-hmm.
She's just like, "Your raccoon pulled a hamster."
It happens. You have hamstrings, don't you?
Yes. Does
See?
your raccoon do stretches with you?
When we're doing yoga. Like today.
As if like catching on to it, Princess quickly hops up and like copies your yoga pose as best he can.
As best with that little body. She just kind of like gives this kind of like disbelieving. And then she like shifts. She's like, she hasn't like gotten necessarily. She's still laying down, but she does kind of like shift so that she's still laying down, but she's like got her like, head propped up so that she can look at Ozla.
What did you say?
Yeah, you're cutting out a bit, Finn.
You're very quiet.
Is it my like user volume?
Maybe. I've got you on full volume and you're still like...
Yeah, I've also
so
got
it's
no
like-
volume and you're still kind of quiet.
Oh, sorry.
Get closer to your mic.
I am very close. It is literally attached to me. As close as it could be. I'll just try to. Okay. So she's moved in bed, so she's propped up. See the rest of the crew.
You're cutting out. I heard about 3 words of those.
She's propped up so she can see everybody, but she's still laying it. He says, "How have I never seen you stretch?"
I don't have a reply.
I'm just gonna let that one go.
Roll that insight.
Who?
Can I make an insight check?
You may absolutely make an insight check.
No!
Alright, I will make an insight. I don't
She
even.
does
I don't think
yoga.
my insight's not.
I'm not even.
Ozla, you're ruining this!
I'm not even gonna like impose disadvantage. Just roll insight.
Okay, wait 1 second.
He wants us to fail this then. Oh, rolled insight and left.
I love to do it. No, I just switched to my laptop.
There we go.
Oh,
That'll fix it.
there we go.
Oh, so much better.
Oh,
Oh, you can hear me now.
Yeah.
So loud. Okay, insight. 12.
Okay, so Ozla's not a real convincing person, and you can tell that something's definitely up, especially because like you're all exhausted from fighting last night. So it's weird that she's up at night doing stretches this close to you, and also the raccoon is being fucking weird. But that's kind of like par for the course for the raccoon.
That's not that concerning.
That's not that concerning. It's mainly Ozla who's acting weird. you can tell.
I haven't put down my knife yet, by the way. I'm still holding it.
Dagger pointed in their direction.
It's just kind of pointed generally.
Nox will wait for a pointedly long amount of time for a response. And then when Ozla doesn't have much to say, oh, hey, Connor.
There we go.
When Ozla doesn't have much to say, she kind of raises her eyebrows. She does a very intentional languid stretch. She just stretches her arms out in front of her like a cat, rolls her hands, her wrists. She looks around at the rest of them. She notices Dhuur'in with his dagger and just kind of makes a motion at him with her hands, put that down. Put that down. And then she turns back to Ozla and she says, "You are not particularly good at hiding things."
I would like Fenkin to sort of step in, seeing how much in trouble Ozla is.
Great for
Steps in and attempts to change the subject very abruptly and not very smoothly, pointing at Nox and saying, "Give me back my coin purse!"
Nox just looks at him blankly for a couple of seconds and then says, "Pardon me?
You heard me? My coin purse. Give it.
Yeah, you had him.
She pointedly looks around and she says, "What are you intending to buy right now?"
I cannot sleep well without my coin purse.
So you use it as a pillow? Or a teddy bear?
At the word...
I don't need to answer yet. Just give it to me.
At the word teddy bear, Princess kind of looks a bit heartbroken. He just kind of he shoots Fenkin a look of
I'm your teddy bear.
I was your teddy bear.
Aww.
Shoot. Say all this.
This doesn't concern you, Princess. Poor baby.
Dhuur'in just goes, "Why are you shouting?"
No reason. No reason.
Should I make an insight check to see if, or should I assume that by now it is plainly obvious that these two are up to something?
Yeah, by now it's pretty obvious that they're either hiding something or they're planning something. And you caught them in the midst.
Safe to assume. Okay. Yeah, Nox just kind of looks at him. She looks back at Ozla, and then now she sits up. Still not really getting up because she's still she still kind of has the air of I'm tired and this is an inconvenience more than anything. But she'll sit up and she sits cross-legged and she just kind of puts her hands on her on her knees. Oof. And she says, "All right, you two start talking."
I feel like we've been talking all this time.
Yeah, we've been time.
Start saying something truthful.
I do want my coin purse back. You think I'm lying?
And when Nox calls for you to be truthful, Ozla, you feel a tugging on the bottom of your jacket, and as you look down, you see Princess kind of pulling on the hem of your jacket, just kind of nodding at you.
No!
Do it!
Meanwhile, Fenkin is It's like,
Continue.
don't do it.
Not my child.
Are you gonna look at Dhuur'in's big, bright, shiny eyeballs
Literal flame eyes.
Are you gonna look
And
at
lie
his
to
giant,
him.
bulbous freak beetle eyes?
his big, freaky, glowing eyes, and lie to him?
Okay.
His voice echoes in the back of your brain. I have nothing but.
Why are you doing this to me? This does not make this any easier.
That's the point.
No.
So, Oz, when she sees, I almost called Princess Dinner. Oh my god!
No. That would
I'm
be
in your
really funny.
brain.
Oh god!
Get out of my head!
When Ozla sees Princess's face, she sort of like deflates a little bit, but because she really wants to keep this under wraps, she's not going to tell the whole truth.
Mm-hmm.
So she sort of like swings her arms like, okay, okay. Me and Fen were going to go on a war, and we were stretching for the war. Yeah?
Then, why wasn't Fenkin stretching?
I don't need to stretch. Look at me.
What exactly is that supposed to mean?
Guess just like, what am I looking at?
Well, doesn't that already prove that you don't know?
What?
Oh god.
He's now pointedly ignoring Gesh.
No!
It doesn't.
Because he doesn't have any good answers.
Nax.
Who needs yoga with a body like this?
Look at these muscles, man. Nax just looks at her for a second, and there's like a pointed beat of silence, and then she's like, "A walk.
A walk?
Where
Yeah.
to?"
To the beach.
The beach.
And we needed the money for ice cream.
Ice cream.
What's ice cream?
Uncultured swine.
What is ice cream?
It is the middle of the night, and you are telling me that the two of you
Yes.
needed money
Mhm.
to go to the beach in the middle of the night,
Uh-huh.
and you intend to buy ice cream.
Exactly, yes.
And you had to do this when all of us were asleep.
Ice cream tastes better at night.
It's the moonlight. The position of the moon, remember?
Yeah, can I roll insight into seeing how bullshit
You absolutely may. You absolutely may.
How many
Whose side are you on?
Oh, Dhuur'in's just gonna look between both of them and in the most pitiful way say, "Were you trying to leave?"
That was uncalled for.
Roll a
That was,
Constitution saving throw to not start crying.
Wait, do I have to roll disadvantage on that, or?
No,
Right.
it's gonna be like for physical stuff. Like I'm trying to lift a ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there was an 18. So.
He knows
But I
exactly.
know your plan already.
Guess is on it.
So Gesh, given your context that you have with Ozla, specifically pertaining to the note and knowing that
Damn it.
there's something going on between her and the Menagerie Coast, you know something's a bit up. You know she's trying to hide something.
Yeah. So he gets up and sort of walks over to the entrance of the tent and just sort of blocks it.
Oh.
Standing there with his arms crossed.
Oh. Damn.
What are you gonna say to my boy? What are you gonna say? Look me in the eyes. What are you gonna say?
No horrible glowing eyes.
What did he say?
He's like,
I just want Fenkin to go, give him my fucking money! But Fenkin is sort of understanding that, okay, yeah, the jig is over, like,
Jigs up.
so he just kind of stare, and sort of gives us a crestfallen look, like,
Oh no.
When she sees that, she's like, alright then, fuck. And she sort of looks at, I'm gonna say she looks straight at Dhuur'in.
Oh no. Take psychic damage.
Look into his bright, glowing, demonic puppy dog eyes.
Oh.
And she goes, we are.
why? Why don't you ask the big lizard man that?
Oh?
looks right at Gesh and goes,
All heads swivel to Gesh.
That's right, bitch!
What should I? No. I don't know why they want to leave.
Oh, so you don't now, huh?
No.
Do you perhaps recall, I don't know, taking us alone somewhere for a talk very recently?
I was behind him like,
wherever you
Why are they
going,
literally the mean girls?
there is no reason to go alone.
there
This
is.
does not concern you.
If you are going to the beach, to the coast, as the same way I was brought to all of you, I was told to go to the coast. I am meant to go with you.
How do you know about the coast?
A voice, they echo. I hear them, and they guide me.
Oh, great, the voices.
Fenkin!
Here we go with the voices again.
You don't have to come.
I will. I promised to protect you.
Why?
Because you would protect me.
Well, shit, mate. I mean, this is kind of something Fen and I were gonna do alone. We weren't really gonna wake you guys. This is important to me and Fen. But if you want to tag along, you can.
What?
I can't look at him.
Is it your nightmares?
What did you say?
Is it your nightmares?
I didn't tell Fen about those yet, I don't think so. Not necessarily.
The nightmares?
It's but it's just I'm
Wouldn't it be safer with all of us?
this isn't necessarily a dangerous thing we're gonna go do though.
Ozla,
You get me?
Ozla. As soon as you start speaking, there's a sharp pain in your foot.
Oh.
You look down and you see Princess biting you.
She's like, it's not necessarily a dangerous thing we're gonna do. You know.
And the little raccoon releases and like amazingly looks at you and crosses his little raccoon arms.
Menagerie Coast to find someone who I've been looking for a while now. And Fen knows him. And I was just going to take Fen and we were going to go find him at the Menagerie Coast, because that's when Gesh talked to me, and he like shoots Gesh a little glare.
And for those of
Bloody
you,
boy.
I'm sure your characters know this, but for the players themselves, the Menagerie Coast is basically the Exandria's version of the Pirates of the Caribbean setting, where there's it's not completely run by pirates, but it might as well be. It's very much a coastal town that's not under the heel of the Dwendalian Empire, so there's a bit more laxity and freedom, but also pirates are an issue.
I'm pretty sure I've been there in my questing to leave.
Yeah, that's where Nox is from.
Oh, I passed by it. I went to Port Damali.
Port Damali. I forgot where I was now. Fuck.
Talking about Gesh.
She shoots Gesh a little dirty look, and she says, like, when Gesh and I had our talk, he had something that was important to me, and he gave it me, and it showed me where the person was, and now I want to go speak to him about something, and that's what we're going to go do. And if you guys want to come along, you can.
We can go in the morning.
I would like to point out that you have absolutely nothing to gain from this, and I am quite reluctant to agree to accompany us on something so important to us, seeing as such important information has been withheld from us up until now, since before. What if it happens again?
I have nothing to hide.
That's all.
But someone else does.
Ozla has not
Glares at Gesh.
Ozla has not looked away from Gesh. And she didn't tell people that he hid stuff.
He could have.
I'm not a mind reader. I had no idea that ladder was important to either of you. So,
Well, mate, you could have at least shared it if we were going to stay in a group like this.
Another bite.
You could have! Could have. I guess if you want a mind reader. Ow! But share things with us. Next time, I'm just like rubbing at her foot.
What? Nox is then kind of sitting. Oh, sorry, did I cut you off?
sorry. Yeah, he's just like, I'll consider it.
Consider it.
Dhuur'in's getting more and more visibly uncomfortable and emotional as this drags on.
Poor baby. Yeah, Nox has been kind of sitting like quietly. She's clearly like interested, especially when they start talking about, you know, gossip, the juiciness that she's missed. She's like, her ears are perked. She's like, oh. But then she kind of, in the lull after Ozla says that to Gesh, she kind of stretches languidly and she says, well, I would appreciate the chance to go back home for a little bit. So, I will come too.
You sure, mate?
I'm very sure.
Alright. Gesh, you wanna come?
Well, I wouldn't want to leave any of you, so yes.
She like starts
Does he look at Dhuur'in?
Reed, I don't want to leave the Warlock.
Poor sad
I'm following him.
Drow baby.
Oz sort of like swings her arms again. Okay! We'll go as a group then. Great.
Friendship.
Now can I have my money coin purse back?
No.
Please?
No. And
Please?
He told you the truth! He told you the truth!
Yes, well, he can have it in the morning. I'm using it as a footrest.
as this is going on, there's a rustling sound. And should anybody turn to see it, you guys watch as Princess kind of worms his way into one of the backpacks and comes out with a long rolled piece of paper. And it's in his mouth. And he hops up onto the table with some effort. Again, he's a very girthy little raccoon. And he unfolds the party's map of the world. And as he unrolls it, you guys watch as he kind of like looks at all of you with that big raccoon grin, takes a butter knife from the table, and stabs it into the map, right where the Menagerie Coast is.
Are we sure?
Can I roll an Arcana check on the raccoon?
Is it?
You fucking said at one point this has to be a person.
I'm gonna try to roll an Arcana check on the raccoon.
Sure,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Just in case.
His hair is too silky and soft.
19.
19.
Oh,
So you look at Princess, and you don't sense anything magical. It's a raccoon.
Oh, please tell me he's a raccoon trained by the fucking circus. That'd be so fucking brilliant.
Okay.
And with that, with the shepherds agreeing to take to the Menagerie Coast come morning, with their sails set, so to speak, they return.
I get it.
Thank you. That alliteration was right off the bat. Anyway,
Nice.
you all turn in for the night with this newfound. I hesitate to call it a bond. I hesitate to call it trust, but there is something brewing. And as you awaken to the cricket of bugs and the chirping of birds, as you all work together to pack up the tent and pack up your belongings, you look out at the Amber Road, which is the road that you've been traveling along. As the thick pine forests give way to the wide, verdant plains of the southern Zemni fields, you begin to realize just now how the Ember Road, known to the Imperial traders as the Golden Road, got its name. Before you, for endless miles that seem to stretch on into the horizon, is a road dominated on either side by rolling hills of long, soft grass, which curls and drifts in the breeze like the waves of an ocean. Love the Empire or hate it, one cannot deny the natural beauty of its lands, nor can any adventurer say they've ever truly lived until they've walked the Amber Road for themselves. And while tired feet may ache for the relief of a horse, one needs only to look into the clear azure skies above and see the way they meet the lush ground below and feel the cares and wears of travel melt away. And, with blades on belts, with packs on backs, and with a newfound destination, the shepherds set off, all at the same time taking the first step on this new journey. Zadash, Pride's Call, Kubo, the Tall Man, Karn, it all lies behind you. Yet who can say what will come next? So yeah.
I rip a clod of grass out of the ground. I toss it.
So as you guys begin walking down the road,
Dhuur'in's in front. He just kind of veers off to the side, bends down.
It hits someone in the face.
Fenkin is just like covered with grass straws, and he's like,
I think this was a bad idea. We shouldn't have brought him.
So glad we brought people along.
Even though it's still kind of like early in the morning, it is still very nice and warm, and the sun is high in the sky. Again, this is another opportunity for you guys to do in character stuff amongst yourself and make any checks that you want to make. What's the walking order right now?
Dhuur'in's in front.
Yeah, Gesh is behind Dhuur'in.
Fenkin is in the far back, very unhappy situation.
Nox is probably with Ozla, but she will at some point intentionally slow down so that she can walk by Fenkin.
All right.
Hello?
And then Gesh turns to the party, just like, do any of us have any other maps? Ones that don't have knife holes in them.
No.
I am familiar with this area. Be fine.
If you're sure.
We can just steal one if we need.
Exactly.
I'm going to say for flavor's sake, Dhuur'in, if you have your hood down, Princess is kind of like cruising in the back of your hood like a hammock.
In the hood.
A little ride.
Yeah, it's down.
Low.
It's not really enjoying the sunlight, but
I can imagine
it's too hot.
It's
With
hot,
how-
yeah. It's
with how
hot.
heavy Princess is, like pulling the hood back.
He'd be having to like hold because the hood isn't really it's attached to the cape, which just kind of rests on his shoulders. So he's having to like hold
it down.
It's like, well,
Aw.
this raccoon is heavy.
It's an extra backpack.
It's fine. My satchel's on my hip.
Yeah, it's fine.
My creepy books.
Yeah, if I can.
Guys? Uh-oh. Oh, shit.
Deliberately until she is walking next to Fenkin. And she's got her like hands kind of like resting on her hips as she walks, and she's
Hello? Guys, can you? Okay, we might be running into technical difficulties. That's kind of what I expected. I'm going to need to disconnect really fast.
Time to hotspot.
Pause.
Pause.
Enough for commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I assumed this would happen. I just need to switch to a personal little thingy here, and then I'll be good to go. Or let me just check and see if this works.
Or something.
This is why I know I'm retarded.
All right,
No,
good.
we can turn our new sponsor.
Can
You good, Connor?
you guys? There was a moment where like everybody froze, and like I didn't hear anything for a long time, so I thought that was finally the internet going down.
We were still role playing. We were just.
Going.
Yeah, we had another conversation about fucking Gesh.
Yeah.
I hate to do this, but because my recorder probably didn't pick it up, can we start back from? I think it was I think it was Nox who was doing something after we talked about.
Oh yeah, we didn't get very far. We didn't get.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
She's going to walk next to Fenkin.
Yeah. Okay. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So she slowed down until she was walking alongside Fenkin, and she did so very like deliberately, like looking back at him the whole time, you know, making it very obvious that she's like, "I'm gonna come talk to your ass."
Fenkin, terrified.
Yeah. And then when she's alongside him, she puts her hands on her hips and she says, "So, you do not seem thrilled about this little travel arrangement, correct?"
He, at this very pointed, very almost private, for him, question, he stutters in his step a little, as if he stumbled up kind of rock, and he like pushes a little bit on his breath, and he fixes his hood, almost as a drag to buy himself more time, looking very uncomfortable and very socially awkward. Tossing her a few glances, and then finally like sighs heavily. I don't do well in company.
It's a little late to be making that claim, isn't it?
I didn't think it was gonna last for as long as it has. Okay.
She just kind of hums, and then she she nods towards Dhuur'in in the front of the party, and she says, "Don't think I didn't notice the way that you were clinging to the Dark One a couple days ago. You do not mind this company as much as you say you do."
He does that. And then goes shit as he can't think of a good enough excuse. And he fiddles a little bit and starts doing something which he tends to do whenever he's especially nervous or uncomfortable with a perhaps usually social situation. He starts like fiddling with his hair, his braid combing through like the loose strands of hair. And it seems to relax him a little bit. His shoulders sort of sinks down slowly, and he's able to speak a little bit more. It's less bitten out. His words are less bitten out and more fluent. And he says, "Well, perhaps it's just a choice of mine to stay away from people. Perhaps it isn't something that I'm inherently uncomfortable with. Perhaps it's just a fear. I don't know. It's dumb. I don't want to talk about it."
No. She just kind of bobs her head a little bit, and she says, "Being comfortable among others is a skill. Like any skill, you have to practice it. And the only way to practice it is to do it. You are not nearly as bad at it as you seem to think you are. Though I will admit you are not as good at it either."
He keeps like playing with his braid and sort of frowns a little bit, furrows his brows, and sort of nods a bit, and then pauses mid-nod at the last word. It's like, "You're not wrong, but what is it to you anyway, whether I'm social or not?"
I suppose that is a good question. In truth, it is nothing, as in reality, much of this party is secretive. With a pointed glance towards really both Ozla and Gesh, and Dhuur'in for that matter. I mean, just everyone above them. Just kind of nods at them. And she says, "It is your choice, of course, at the end of the day. It is your life. What you will do with it, how you will behave, whether you will choose to surround yourself with the company of many, or one, or nobody. But I simply want to say, in my profession, given the story of my life, I am very adept at recognizing a performer when I see one. And you are a performer, but you do not have to be performing right now." And then she just kind of shrugs, and she doesn't walk away, like she's still walking near him, but she does like kind of turn her attention back forward. And yeah.
Go ahead, Fenkin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to give Fenkin a reaction to this because
Yeah, go right ahead. Oh, I froze again. Hang on.
Trying to spin me.
Hi. Hello?
Hi, what was Fenkin's reaction?
Are you filming?
I'm filming, yeah.
Okay. Well, he stumbles over himself a little bit, and he suddenly seems visibly flustered. The tips of his little elf ears are tinted red, as is his face. And he's sort of like stumbling about and almost freaking out, like having a little fit. And then he sort of reverts back into himself, into his shell, and goes, "This is why I don't like Tabaxi, they know too much."
Knocking! Knocking!
Nox, what's your charisma?
My charisma modifier is +4.
Not the modifier, the number.
Just the number is, it should be 18. Yep, 18.
Shit. Okay. All right.
Oh.
So as soon as this conversation is over, and as soon as there's like a bit of distance between you and Fenkin, Nox, you suddenly become very aware of your walking stick that you're holding.
Is that it?
If you decide to look down on it, to look down at your walking stick, it's kind of, you know that feeling where like you become aware of your breathing and you kind of have to like breathe manually for a while.
Why did you say that?
Yeah, exactly.
So everyone, all of us in the party, and everyone that's watching this video right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's that kind of feeling. And after a moment of looking down at your walking stick, it warms up a bit in your hand. And you hear a voice. "Your tongue is silver, O bearer mine."
Oh.
These voices, man.
Too many.
So many voices.
There's a momentary, brief alarm.
Dhuur'in's infecting everybody.
Yeah, right. She had kind of like stopped using it as a walking stick for a second. She'd kind of like held it in both her hands for a moment and was looking at it. And she, unfortunately, well, maybe fortunately, in her life, with the amount of places she's been and things that she's kind of gone through, this is probably not the first time that she's heard some voices out of nowhere. So it's alarming, but it's not like, it's not truly terrifying. And in fact, she almost finds a sort of like comfort in the words. She kind of smirks a little bit to herself, and she doesn't really react externally. Maybe a quick look around to like see if anybody else is reacting, to kind of confirm that it was just something contained within the item that she's holding.
As you look up, it doesn't seem like anybody's like looking back at you, and they're kind of like getting further and further into the distance as you stand looking at this at this walking stick. So yeah, apparently you're the only one who's heard it.
Okay. Yeah. So she kind of looks up to confirm that. And then she picks it up, she looks at the inscription on it, the carved word, and then she'll turn, walk backwards for a second so that she can face Fenkin, who she has started to pull out ahead of at this point. And she holds up the stick and turns it to him so that he can see the inscribed word. And then she just says, "Courage." And then she continues about her work.
Fenkin,
Look at this.
you watch as the walking stick, in a flash of light, becomes this beautiful, elegant rapier. But the blade is no longer silver. It is a gleaming rose gold.
Ooh.
Fenkin was at first already startled by like her word. She was like, "What the heck is this lunatic doing now?" And then, as he sees this sort of little transformation, he's like, and then he stares at it. Then it knocks, and then and then it knocks.
So that definitely startled her as well, because the last time that she did, although she's very used by now to the the transforming aspect of it. It was not glowing previously, so that's new. But she did just do like this cool little like smug thing. So she's like not gonna act like she didn't know that was gonna happen. So she's gonna pay it off, and so she can maintain the cool casualness of what she just did.
The blade's not really glowing. It's just changed color from silver to gold.
Okay, so it's not like luminescent.
Yeah, no, it's not. You didn't just like pull out Ashbringer from World of Warcraft.
Okay. Yeah. So she definitely notices the change in it, and it is definitely interesting to her. But she just kind of plays it off. But she will turn, and as she is kind of facing forward again, she does take a second to inspect the blade. Like, what the hell?
Can I also say that Fenkin sort of looks off her and grumpily mutters, "Fuck, that was kind of cool."
Yeah. Fenkin, you just watched the bard of your group magic a stick into a sword, and that's not something you knew she could do.
Well, no, she's done it in front of them before. You might have seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, she did it.
It is a different color, though.
Wait, no, more the whole.
She did it when the
Not
skeletons
in a cool
attacked.
way like that.
Yeah.
When the skeletons attacked, but that was before Fenkin and Ozla woke up.
Yeah.
So,
That is true.
Yeah, and it was also combined with the whole speech, and then her sort of showing up, like, smirking, and he was like, "Fuck, why is she kind of hot?"
Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Knocking.
Oh my god.
Like, I hate Tabaxi, but that one's hot.
in a like, when you're platonically appreciating someone.
Yeah, like a
He's just like, she's kind of badass and hot. I have
not
knowledge, not even
a
which is
personal
weird.
attraction thing, but like a
Not enough to have a weird dream about.
yeah.
So
Leave him alone.
so as you inspect
Oh, sorry. No, that's what I was about to ask. Go ahead.
So as you inspect the blade, Nox,
Mhm.
you can tell that some things have changed other than just the color of the blade. You can see that like a vine-like, not inscription, like it's like when you hammer a little like design into metal.
Yeah.
What it's got that kind of design of like a thorn, a vine of thorns, kind of like swirling up the blade. And for some reason, amongst the smell of clean metal, you detect the faint hint of a rose. And there's a moment where you kind of feel like there's something watching you before the voice speaks up again, and it says, "Noble as a rose, O bearer mine."
Oh. This time the voice is a little bit more unnerving, simply because of that kind of feeling of being watched that she experienced. Although she's again, like she's kind of been around some magical items in her life. She's seen some weird things. So like the mere fact that it transformed and is now different appearing is not necessarily alarming to her. But she certainly, the feeling of being watched or feeling as though some presence is nearby is alarming no matter what. So she kind of feels that. She kind of gets a little uncomfortable, like prickling of her fur.
Get used to it.
Yeah, she's not used to it yet, like Dhuur'in is. She'll get there. And she does another quick look around, just kind of to confirm that there's, not like a spooky specter or anything nearby.
I mean, there's Dhuur'in, but nothing much else other than
Just
that.
Dhuur'in.
He's just walking without a care in the world.
And now, her first ever fanboy.
Yeah. Well, her second. There's that tiefling. But yeah, she almost pauses for a second, like squinting at the blade, but then is there a sheath for the blade?
No.
Or is it just repeating the word?
Just repeating the word to put it away. There's no like sheath or anything. You can, if you wanted to, just loop the sword into your belt. You know, like a regular rapier. But other than that,
right. But there isn't a sheath. Okay. Yeah, she squints at the blade for a second as she's holding it in her hands, thinking a little bit, and then she just more like with less fanfare this time, much more quietly to herself, she says, "Courage," to transform it back.
It's back into a walking stick. And as soon as it's a walking stick once more, the voice speaks up one more time, but this time quieter. Good night, O bearer mine.
Horrifying!
With your weapon!
I love it!
Founded weapon!
My weapon friend, it's my sword boy.
Plus one cutting rapier.
She just kind of squints, and then she'll go back to using it as a walking stick as she was before. But she's a little bit less. She kind of had this like very lackadaisical, almost somewhat smug air to her before when she was like meandering back to talk to Fenkin. But she doesn't necessarily have that anymore. She's a little bit more wary now. She's a little bit more on edge, but she'll just continue walking.
Lackadaisy cats. Anyway, so, alright. So, with that out of the way, you guys continue to walk for about an hour, thereabouts. But as you make your way over a hill along the road, Dhuur'in, you said you're in the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so...
Yes, I'm leading the party.
Alright, so you see a very large group, a good distance away, on the other side of the road, kind of coming up towards you guys. And as it gets closer and closer, you can see a caravan made up of a wagon and about 20 to 40 soldiers walking in a row behind it in silver burnished plate. And at the very front of the wagon, there's a man astride a white horse. His armor is a gleaming gold color, and there's a long red cape that flows out behind him. His skin is this umber brown color, and his hair is pulled back in braids. And you can't tell like right off the bat because you just saw him, but as they get closer, you can tell he's a very handsome man as well, with these like almost predatory gold eyes. And he holds in one hand is like on a sword on his hip, but in his other hand he has this kind of like long banner that has on it the stylized symbol of a lion. And as they're walking along, he eventually sees your group, and he holds his sword hand up, and immediately, with a uniform perfection, all the soldiers halt in place, stand rigid, slam their spears into the ground, and in one mighty voice, "Ho!"
Oh.
I jump.
The whole party just walks into each other.
Again.
Yeah. I'll say Dhuur'in stops, and then suddenly it's Gesh, Ozla, Nox, and Fenkin with poor Ozla crushed between this sandwich of huge people. But the man on the horse, he hands his banner off to a soldier who makes his way up and grabs it. And as this is happening, anybody want to make me a quick history check?
Oh,
Yeah.
favorite.
I'll make the history check because
Can all of us do it, or just
go right ahead. I'll try. While you guys are doing that, I'm gonna pee really quick. So make your checks. I'll be right back.
I'm sure this won't go well.
Yeah, this
I know because it's jack of all trades. I got 11. That's not
I
bad.
got 14.
Ooh,
Lucky sod.
I got a 10.
And
that's not awful either.
I got a 3.
I got a 3 too. Yes, baby.
Dumb and Dumber. It's a lion like my book.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Well,
Let the lion roar!
Let the lion roar! Hi.
I'm back. So what did everybody get?
Connor, can I have advantage because of my book?
No.
Damn it.
Well, I got a 10.
Okay. Okay. So everybody who rolled a 10 or above, you immediately recognize the uniforms and the tabards of the Righteous Band, which is basically the militia, the military of the Dwendalian Empire. Very different from the Crown's Guard. These are the guys who actually go out and fight the wars. And you can tell from the size of the number of the men here that this is about a full company's worth of the Righteous Band. And once he hands off his banner, the man on the horse kind of like clops forward, and he eventually comes to a rest before you guys, and he kind of looks you guys over before straightening up, and he has a very regal air and presence about himself, and he speaks in a very deep voice. Captain Rudolph of the Yellow Lions, state your names.
Hi.
I'm in the very front, so I'm looking up at this horse, and I just go,
Dhuur'in Kolbavar.
We finally learned his name.
You know his name!
Oh,
Everybody freezes like, you have another day?
Wait, you guys have two names? What?
I was like dips out behind Gesh, like fully like at his like knees, and she's like, "Hello, I'm Ozla."
I am Gesh.
Nox.
Fenkin, being the absolute buffoon that he is, goes and says, what's it to you?
He shoots a look at you, Fenkin, sterner than anything you've ever seen before. And he says, it is everything to me.
God.
The defense of my borders are everything to me. So I will ask you again, what is your name?
I can assure you, never heard of it before.
Gesh just nudges Fenkin. It's like,
Here.
Oh, shit, I'm frozen again. Let me back in. Let me in! What the hell? No, it just won't let me on. What? Oh, crap. Okay, yeah, now the internet is really out. Okay, yep, that makes sense. Once again, technical difficulties. Sorry for anybody watching. Oh boy. Just give me a second and we'll be right back online. Get the personal hotspot going. Come on. Recognize the hotspot, please. Please recognize the hotspot. There we go. There it is. Oh, please let me back in the call. Oh, please let me back in the call. There we go. Getting connected back.
Playing Fenkin is I get to be a little brat.
A little rat boy.
I'm back.
How are
I'm
you
sorry.
back?
I'm back. Unfortunately,
They have passports.
We did a whole roleplay before you realized you were frozen.
stop lying to him. God damn it.
No, it's true.
So now the internet is really out, and now we're actually on the personal hotspot. So does anybody mind if we start over? I apologize.
Where did you get
Start
that
over from where?
The frame that I left on was Gesh literally being like, "Hey."
Okay, that's not far.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, Gesh is just like. So the question.
And because he is a very, very whole big man, and Fenkin's a little twink, he almost goes flying. He's like, But fine. My name is Fenkin. Fenkin Farwarin.
And we have passports.
The captain smiles and says, "It's good to see civilians who know how to follow instructions. May I see them?"
I get my passport out.
Oh,
Nox kind of
rummage
rolls her
me.
eyes, but she also gets hers out.
Yeah, Gesh gets his out eventually.
How come Nox got away?
Oh yeah, he didn't.
She didn't say her full name.
So as he takes the passports, kind of starts leafing through them, kind of looking at you guys. He says something like, "You know, it's very odd to see a group like yours walking around unguarded with no escort of any kind. Do you
We've been
perhaps?"
told.
We're not defensive.
Yeah, what was that, Gesh?
We're not defensive.
We're not defense.
We're not defenseless.
Oh, we're not defenseless. Sorry, sorry. It like kept cutting out after defense. I'm just saying.
We have a fence. So
I'm just saying the Amber Road is not as safe as the Stokostas would have you believe. Trust me. And he slams one of the passport closed. I know. And he hands them back to Dhuur'in before stepping back. "If I may ask, what is your business here?"
We're going to the beach.
coast.
Go to the beach? Beach?
We're going to the beach to get ice cream.
There might be ice cream in the future.
Might be.
We don't know.
does ice cream exist in Exandria?
So did you guys literally answer with, "We're gonna go find ice cream at the beach"?
No.
No,
Dhuur'in
Dhuur'in said
said-
we're going to the coast.
No.
We are going to the coast.
I see. And you understand that you can be detained at the border until further notice, in which case your passports will be examined before you are allowed to leave?
Yes, we've done that before.
And you understand that there will be a toll?
A what?
Understood.
Wait, no. Then Gesh pulls out the reward that we got from
Captain Amon Gus.
from Pride's Call. That lady that was in charge of it gave us the things that said that we didn't have to pay tolls.
I
Wasn't it?
see. And do you have this documentation with you?
No, we didn't get that. All we got from Pride's Call was money
Did
from Amon. We didn't get anything like that.
Really? But that was the
Oh
reward.
no, you're thinking about Sudan.
Well, the reward was just money.
No, the reward from
Oh, and
Pride's Call.
and
It was just a stamp on our passport saying, or from Pride's Call? No, we didn't get anything like that from Pride's Call. We got the passports from Pride's Call that would allow us into Zadash. And then
We
from
didn't get
Zadash, we just got money.
I thought it was.
No, we didn't get anything that said we wouldn't pay a toll.
No, I put down in my notes that we got a letter that lets us go to anywhere in the Empire without paying tolls. And
It's not without paying tolls, it's without being arrested.
Being arrested.
Well, you just get arrested for walking around.
Yeah, all we got were the passports.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I don't
Like
think you guys got a letter that said that you couldn't pay tolls.
No.
No.
Well,
Oh, that sucks.
well, thank you, Brain. Anyway, so yeah, like we just strip that from everything.
Yeah, sure. That's no problem. That's no problem.
Cut the episode, kill everything, just edit all of that out, and then
Retcon.
So Captain Rudolph will kind of look at you all and be like, "And what is your business at the coast?"
We were to meet someone.
He gives Dhuur'in a very long, hard look, and recognizes that he's a Drow, and the look becomes longer and harder. And he hands the
Racism.
passport. And as he hands the passports back to you, Dhuur'in, he nods and he's like, very well. Continue on your way. You're not far from the town of Alfield. All I ask is that you do not cause any trouble there.
Of course not.
Very well. Continue on. Lions! And as he shouts that, the entire company, again in perfect uniformity, they stand to the side and like back up onto the road to make room for you guys. And again, they do this all like simultaneously in perfect unison. And once again, they slam their shields into the ground. Whoa!
Who?
Dhuur'in this time does not jump. He is more enraptured.
I would Fenkin sort of sneak up to the rest of the group because he was sort of like behind them, and then sort of say, I never thought I would say this, but perhaps the hooded one should be our main speaker from now on.
And as you guys are walking off, there's Captain Rudolph speaks up. Wait a moment. And he kind of like rides forward to block you again. And he says,
I knew it wasn't that easy.
he says something like, by the way, we've been looking for a pair of fugitives. Has anyone in your group seen a pair of orcs?
No!
One's very large, carries a shield. The other just a staff.
At
Then
one
you just
point-
slap his hand over Dhuur'in's mouth. He's like, no.
A pair of orcs?
That's right.
What are they wanted for?
I'll tell you what they're wanted for. Immolating an entire company of my yellow lions!
Damn. Nox kind of pretends to think for a second. And she says, what is the physical description of these orcs? You said they are large?
An orc's an orc.
Well, sir, all orcs are large. I have seen a great many orcs. You will have to be more specific.
I can clearly see I've been wasting my time here. Continue on.
Nox just kind of looks at him for a second, then she goes, and shrugs.
Fenkin removes his hand from Dhuur'in's mouth and wipes it on his coat.
So with that, the captain kind of like pulls his horse aside to let you guys through, and he does not stop watching you as you guys walk by.
I nod to him and continue.
Eventually, though,
Fenkin says, I take back what I said before.
eventually the yellow lions they fall back into place and begin marching towards Zadash. Most likely to offer reinforcements after the current shenanigans in Zadash. Unbeknownst to them, you were the source of many of those shenanigans.
Oh, yeah.
But as the captain said, as you make your way down the road, there is a kind of a signpost that points towards your direction. That's written in Zemnian, Alfield. And since there's like no other way to go, the road doesn't really branch off anywhere else. You guys continue down that way. And this takes another like few hours, and eventually night does begin to fall. The sky goes from that perfect azure blue to a pink, and then to a purple, and soon a starry twilight. And eventually, you all kind of agree that with no town in sight quite yet, it's time to like bunk down and find a place of rest. Fortunately for you guys, you have kind of reached a foresty outcropping, and with a little bit of investigation, as you kind of like step beyond the bushes, you find a small clearing that's next to this like crystalline pond. But in the center of this clearing, there are 3 huge, long, tall stones that are kind of like set up in a circle, kind of like Stonehenge in a way. And With
I've seen that one. 'Cause I'm ready.
But with a source of water so close by, and with this kind of interesting stone formation, this seems like a pretty good place to camp.
Yay!
You said there was like a little source of water, like a little.
A little pond, yeah.
Oh, Fenkin goes there. He's gonna wash off the travel dust.
So
The dirt. During
Check and
dirt
see
pond.
if the stones are magical.
okay, so we'll do this one at a time. Fenkin, as you make your way over to the pond to start washing up, the water looks beautiful and clear, and suddenly it's ruined when Princess cannonballs into the water and just soaks you head to toe.
Aww. Fenkin can't catch a break, man.
Well, I might as well wash my clothes. Then he climbs into the water.
I'm washing me and myself.
You're washing me and my clothes.
My clothes.
But Dhuur'in, you make your way over to the stones, you said, and you're doing a what?
I want to see if they're magical.
Okay. So as you get closer, you do find some symbols etched into the stone that look very kind of like primitive and almost like runic in a way, but you can't. Give me an Arcana check.
I already rolled. I got a 17. Wait,
17.
hold on. Hold on. I gotta make sure of my modifier. 18.
Ooh.
It's a rock. It's a rock with stuff on it.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I'm just covering my bases. Okay, I've been watching a lot of Critical Role.
It's very fair.
However, on one of the rocks, you see not a rune, but a carved shape of a humanoid figure, or at least something close to human, you think. It has a pair of legs, and it has a huge head with no neck, and a pair of long wings that unfurl out behind it. Again, it's a very primitive looking kind of like chiseling work, but you know, you can still tell that like the artist was trying to like make something humanoid with wings.
What kind of wings? Bat wings or angel wings?
It's hard to tell. They seem to be feathery a little bit, but like again, that it's not a very well done picture.
I touch it. I'm gonna just kind of
Touch it up.
touch it.
Your hand is on it,
That's
and nothing happens. You are just touching it.
Okay.
You're just touching rock.
You're just touching the rock.
I will consider it a warning.
All right. So what's everybody else doing? Ozla, Gesh, Nox.
I need to go to the bathroom. I was gonna go take a pee break.
All right. We'll start with Nox instead. Nox, what are you doing?
Oh. She kind of looks around a little bit, probably watches Dhuur'in for a second as if to like see if he's about to do some cool warlock shit, and then when he's just touching some rocks, she's like
Touch.
And then she goes a little ways away, she's kind of like scoping out a place for a fire pit, or some places that they can set up their tent, things like that. And she go ahead.
There's plenty of flat. This entire clearing, except for the pond, is pretty much like all flat. So, and with the size of the tent, you could set it up like in between the rocks if you wanted to. But there's plenty of places to set up the tent as well. And it'll be easy to build a fire pit anywhere here because there are small patches of dirt that you can kind of like put rocks around.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So she will she'll start taking out her little pocket tent that she has. And then she will look back around for Gesh, and then kind of jerk her head towards a little space on the ground that they could clear, and she'll say, "Come help me with the tent."
Right. He walks over to help with that. Yeah.
All right. While the mom and dad of the group are working on the tent, Ozla, as Fenkin is kind of like doing his best to wash himself off in his clothes, and Princess is doing his like little back paddle in the water, you see the hat that Fenkin bought from from the Emporium like fall off of his backpack into the ground. And you remember that this hat made a toad, but you don't remember seeing the toad ever again.
No.
She saw the explosion.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought she was right next to him.
I thought Fenkin was the only one who saw it.
We all heard
But she
Yeah,
she saw
Pop, no.
she saw like the aftermath, and she was like, oh, and then she tried to offer him Princess.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. So you remember this? You remember this hat that apparently produces exploding toads? And it's just lying there on the ground.
Oh, the urge. She's probably. So what she's probably been doing already is she's like just checking out the air and then like kicking dirt about and everything like a little gremlin. And she sees the hat and everything, and she feels a little bit like left out because Princess is over there having a backstroke and not paying attention to it. So what she puts the hat on, and she just like twists it, and but as she puts it on, it goes down past her eyes because it's too big for her head, and then she's looking out. Whoa!
And yeah, make me a history check.
Okay. History. Where is my history? Where the fuck is my history? Oh, 13.
Okay, so you remember from seeing Fenkin do it that the command word for this hat is vermin.
Vermin.
Verminius.
Verminius. Thank you.
Verminius.
Yeah. So as she puts it on, it slips past her eyes. She's just like trying to look out under it, and she goes, "Verminius!"
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, so Fenkin.
A fucking bird appears and shits in her head.
So Fenkin, behind you, you hear a very familiar word that's being shouted from, but a bit muffled as well. And as you turn around, you see Ozla with this hat like pulled down over her head, the pointed witch's hat pulled down over her head.
He does like a very excuse me. He does like a very action movie dramatic gesture, like reaching out his arm and going, "No!" He's having literal war flashbacks. He's not ready to face that again.
Oh no.
So, Ozla, you hear somebody shouting "no" from under your hat.
Huh? She's looking around, but she can't see because of the flap of the hat over her eyes. So she's just spinning in a circle. Like, who said that?
You idiot!
Hello? Yeah, she's just holding onto the hat, I think, and just staring out.
I want Fenkin to sort of run up to her and like tear the hat from her head.
Okay.
He grabs her hair as well.
So, Ozla, the world becomes brighter as the hat is like pulled off your head, and you're not really like sure how magic works or anything like that, and it doesn't seem like the hat did anything. But Fenkin, when you pull the hat off, sitting on the top of Ozla's head is a bright orange newt.
Aw. Friend.
About the size of your hand, kind of glistening with moist skin. And it looks at you. And there's a moment where it cocks its head, and it realizes, opens its mouth, and a long tongue shoots out and touches you on the cheek.
Aw.
The silent screaming.
Not being able to hear it is the best part.
He's basically like holding the hat with both hands above his head like this, and stares this little newt straight in the eyes. It sees the familiarity of its actions, and he just falls to his knees, crestfallen, and that makes it pretty much, eye level with the newt, since it's on top of Ozla's head. And he just looks at it, and his arms sort of fall to his sides, and he's like...
The tongue is still stuck to your cheek, so when your head drops down, it like pulls the newt off, and like those little rubber hands that you can get, it just kind of like slap onto your chest.
He doesn't know, he just stands there and just like, no.
Ozla, you watch as a newt like passes by your field of vision and just flap onto Fenkin's chest.
Oh my god. She sort of like pats the top of her head, and she's like, what the fuck? And like as she turns and she sees Fen on his knees, she doesn't register the newt at first, and she just sees him on his knees in front of her, and she's just like, oh god, are you confessing your love to me? Oh god, don't do that.
And right at that moment, while still resting on Fenkin's chest, the newt kind of like cranes its head back to look at you, Ozla, recognizes you as well, opens its mouth, shoots its tongue out, and hits you in the eye.
Oh.
That's happened twice now.
Yeah.
3 times.
Oh, 3 times, yeah. She as it happens, she goes, fuck, ow, ow. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Fenkin just he does like the enemy glare. He's like, his hair is hiding his eyes, and he's like, and then his eyes are like gleaming as like zooms in on her.
What? What did I do? What did I do? What do you want?
You know what you did.
I don't fucking know what I did. You tell me what I fucking did.
You used the hat.
I'm going to see what happened. No.
You knew what was going to happen.
But I'm curious and I'm bored. There's nothing to do. There's just a fucking pool of water.
The newt at this point has started to like
He gently scoops the newt up and like very gently shoves it into Ozla's chest, and it's like, you care for it.
I was just gonna put it down somewhere, live its life.
The newt vanishes into Ozla's cleavage.
Oh god.
And Gesh, I'm going to say that there's a moment where like maybe you're carrying like a big rock on your shoulder towards the campfire, and you look over and you see Fenkin's hand jammed into Ozla's cleavage, and you're just like, not my issue, and you keep going.
Yeah, Nox has definitely been just like watching quietly as she's setting up the tent, and then at some point she's gonna turn to Gesh and say, "This was probably a good idea to babysit these two."
I am ignoring everything that's going on. I am sitting down, getting my house burned down, and reading from my tome.
It sounded like applause for a second, like on a live action sitcom when like a popular character comes on screen and tries to say their line, but the audience is just like, fuck!
Dustin is deep frying eggs for our mapo tofu. It's noisy. But yeah, Dhuur'in is ignoring everything that's going on and reading from his tome.
Yeah.
You described Fenkin's hand going into her chest, so I'm just imagining him like, oh, no, it's gonna suffocate, and like attempt to take it out.
She's trying to shake her shirt, and he's like, I was just gonna put it in the fucking forest. Why'd you have to do this?
As you like look down at your cleavage, Ozla, a tongue appears out of the cleavage and hits you in the other eye.
Oh my
She can't
god.
see. She can't see. She just squinted, eyes closed, and she's like, get it out.
Fenkin is like, fine, okay, I'll take it. I can trust you with anything. And then he just gently scoops it out and puts it on his shoulder, and he's like, I can do this. I've been through worse, I can do this.
Right in your cheek.
You're not making it any easier.
Ooh.
Oh god, Ozla, she's just like, she's like doing like, because she feels a little bit violated by both the boob lizard and Fenkin.
Yeah.
And like she's like, I fucking hate land, I hate forest, I hate fucking lizards.
Gesh being like,
Waving his head around like, okay.
Okay. So with that, we'll say another hour passes while everybody kind of like sets up camp for the night. And do we want to take a 10-minute break, real quick?
before the soul-crushing event? Sure.
Actually,
You want to do it right now, don't you?
you know what? Before we take a break, we'll say that after an hour passes, Fenkin.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're gonna have it explode and then yeah.
It doesn't explode this time.
Oh.
You hear a sizzling sound.
Oh, no.
As you look over, the newt is like rubber in the sun, just like melting and dripping off your shoulder.
Oh my god.
Like there's
You're
no
choosing to do this.
like there's no bones or guts or anything. It just becomes this like orange jelly that slides down your leg, your arm, and down onto the floor,
Appetizing.
just into nothing.
Oh my. Jesus Christ, Connor.
I couldn't tell for a second if M was frozen or if this was just Fenkin being viscerally upset.
It's not Fenkin, it's me being visual. Okay. Well, Fenkin sees this. It's not easier the second time. He hoped it would be, but it's not easier the second time. And he just watches it happen. And the way this one disappears, as in liquefies, is it pretty much attacks him in the gut to the point where he has to run over to a bush and hurl his insides out. So he spends a couple of minutes in the bushes, like throwing his guts up, and then finally drags his poor, tired feet to the lake to wash up once more.
Ozla from wherever she is. My bad.
Oh.
Okay.
She was just going to be in the forest. She just wanted to play.
All right. So we'll say that the shepherds are bucking down for the night, and we'll figure out watches and all that in 10 minutes after your DM takes a BM.
Yeah.
I get my charger.
All right.